What's up, guys? H-Rod Trades here. In this video, I'm going to do a quick recap on a trade that we just took today on MNQ Trading Futures on a funding challenge that I'm currently working on right now, working on passing. But before I get started on that video, I just want to give you a quick little yap. I've been in and out of the markets for about 5 years or so, but I actually wouldn't say that for the first 3 years, 3.5 years, I was learning the wrong thing. Okay. So it isn't until the last year and a half or so, and even more closely, the last 6 months, where I've actually started to understand what liquidity is in the market, what the market structure is telling me on the higher time frames, trading with the trend on the higher time frames. Okay. Understanding where sellers and buyers are in the market, where price needs to come to order to fill orders. And it isn't until just the past 6 months or so where I've truly understood that. Before, I would take challenges, blow the challenges. I would uh, fund my personal account, blow my personal account, make a little bit of money, then lose money. And it was just so inconsistent. And now I'm actually super excited because I'm actually profitable. I'm consistent for a few months now, and I have the confidence behind the setup. I have the confidence behind the strategy, and obviously I'm constantly working on my psychology, which is the number one breaker in trading. As you may know, unless you're a beginner, then you don't really understand yet that the process is all mental and psychological. It's hardly strategy. But for me, the first 3 years, I was just gambling really, and I got lucky. And obviously, that's something that you cannot um, really scale upon. You can't scale upon gambling, but you do have the confidence to scale upon a strategy and a setup accompanied with good psychology and a good mindset. So let's get into the trade breakdown right now. Okay, so the first thing that I do every single day, and I've talked about it in other recap videos, is I mark out previous session highs and lows. So London and Asia session. We'll do that right now. This is Asia high. This is London high. This is Asia low, and then London low right here. Then we go to the higher time frame, the H1, the hourly time frame, and we mark out liquidity on both ends, to the upside and to the downside. This is where there's a lot of order flow. There's a lot of, I'm sorry, not order flow. There's a lot of liquidity at these levels. So there's a lot of orders sitting at these levels. So there's a lot of money there. The market moves to these areas to take out orders and essentially continue to move in that direction or reverse on us and go in the opposite direction. Actually, they're already marked up right here. I already marked them up. Um, and for the sake of this video, I am on bar replay. You can see that right here because obviously price moved in a direction, but we want to do this as if we were sitting at our laptop at our desk at 8 in the morning, right when New York pre-market opens. So this is essentially um, 7, 8. This is the 7 a.m. candle. So right at 8 a.m. New York pre-market price is consolidated right here. So we want to mark out liquidity to both sides, right? Price, if it shoots down, there's a bunch of orders below this level of liquidity, right? And then to the upside, we have liquidity up here, and we have liquidity right here. Okay, when you zoom out, obviously MNQ NASDAQ is very bullish, so it would make sense to look for buys. The reason I took a short sell, and I'll explain that right now, price essentially came up and took out this level of liquidity. Okay, took out this level of liquidity. So I thought, oh, maybe it will take out this level of liquidity up here. Okay, we zoomed into the lower time frame and we're seeing what is price doing on these lower time frames. Okay, this is that big push right here where that liquidity was taken. Okay, this was that big push. Okay, so there's a lot of buyers right here buying the market as price continues to go up, right, on the smaller time frame. There's a lot of greedy buyers here, right? They're buying here, they're buying here. Some are actually going deep into profit. Okay, this second candle on the 5 minute starts to push up, so these people are making money, right? At this point, price hits this previous level of resistance right here, okay, from this level, okay? and it starts to slow down, right? There's obviously buyers that bought right here because they thought they missed a move down here. And then price started to shoot down and took them all out of the game, right? Took them all out of the game. Their day's done. They lost their money for the day. Okay. So I thought either price at this level is going to continue to, on the higher time frame, it's going to continue to push up and take out this level of liquidity, or it's going to come back down, right? It's going to retrace, fill some orders, fill liquidity, maybe come down to a fair value gap, an order block, and then proceed back to the upside. We wanted to basically catch that trade to the downside, okay? Another reason I took this trade to the downside is because there's Trump. We had 8:30 a.m. red folder news. We had CPI news. So I knew there was going to be a lot of volatility in the market, okay? We were willing to take a short sell, although the overall market is bullish, but just probably hold that for a shorter period of time, okay? So when we go back to the lower time frame, we saw price starting to reject right on the 5-minute, which is when I typically execute. We saw price rejecting right here, okay? So we thought, okay, we'll take a short sell into this huge gap right here. There's a huge gap down right here, right? That price came into and actually cleared. But we'll only take that once we see a shift in structure to the downside, meaning higher highs and higher lows become lower highs and lower lows. So I went down to the 1-minute. I went down to the 1-minute, right? Price was pushing up. Price was pushing up. It topped out, right? It topped out at this level from over here to the left, right? It created a bearish SMT. And we were hoping to see price reject this level. If it wasn't going to push through, reject this level and push back to the downside. So when I zoom into the 1-minute, we can start seeing a break of structure. Let me remove this big green box so it looks a little bit clearer, right? So we were making higher highs, higher lows into this area, right? Higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. Then we shifted structure right here. Look how this low closed below this previous higher low right here, okay? So we had a shift in structure, but we're not going to take a sell right here because after a shift in structure, right, this is where greedy sellers get in. They're like, oh, the market's coming back down. They'll get in right here. Then price pushes up and takes them out of the market, right? Every time there's a shift in structure, you want to wait for the pullback, for the retracement back into a fair value gap, back into some type of order block, okay? You want to see price reject that at those levels. So that's exactly what happened, right? Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, right? Or I'm sorry, higher high, lower low. Okay, so this was a shift in structure. Like I mentioned, this is where greedy sellers get in, and then price pushes up. We had a retracement, okay, back to this area. Price started to consolidate. When price starts to consolidate, we're just gonna sit on our hands. We're not gonna try to play the guessing game. Is price going to the upside or is price coming back down? We're not playing the guessing game. We only react to what price is doing. Okay, so price was holding this level and resisting at this level. Okay, as you can see, like I mentioned, there was a fair value gap that price came into. Look at the fair value gap. Price came into that fair value gap, right? We had the shifted structure. Price came into the fair value gap and then held this area. It wasn't breaking up and it wasn't bringing down. It was consolidating. What is this telling me? This is telling me that there's a lot of sellers at this area. I can't type right now. There's a lot of sellers at this area pushing the price back down. So when buyers get in at this area, at this level down here, they try to push price all the way back up, right, to hopefully make new highs and clear this bigger break of structure on the hourly and come to this, come to this higher time frame liquidity up here. But short sellers or just sellers, short sellers in the market, they're all sitting at this level and they're basically keeping price from coming above this level. When will we take our trade? When we see the buyer side, right? There's buyers at this level. I'll type this out. So there's sellers here and there's buyers here. Once price breaks through and closes under this level and this level where this wick is, I know that there's no longer enough strength in buyers in the market and the sellers are taking over. So we're probably, right? Because that's what trading is, it's just probabilities. We might probably move to the downside and we'll set our stop loss somewhere above, okay? So that's exactly what I did. As soon as price broke the trend right here, this new lower low closed under this previous higher low, and then we retraced, we consolidated right here. When this big engulfing candle close to the downside and closed below these previous candles right here of support where buyers were, right? This previous low, we now had a new low. So this was higher high, higher low, higher high, lower low, lower high, and then a new lower low. We took that break of candle, put our stop loss above the zone. You could have put your stop loss up here if you want it to be a lot safer. I think I put my stop loss right here at this wick, okay? And then we took this and got out literally right here because I saw this rejection. And mind, this is a counter trend move. So this was just under a 1 to 2. This is a counter trend move. Remember, on the hourly, we're bullish, right? Price on the higher time frames is very strong to the upside. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, potentially a higher low. Potentially we could be going higher and breaking these previous highs right here, okay? So if the higher time frame is telling us buys, bullish structure, if we take a short sell to the downside, we probably want to be disciplined and take our win as it comes. If it comes quickly, we take our win because at some point, price is going to reject and come back up as it did right here. Remember, the higher time frame is a lot more powerful than the lower time frames. So that's exactly what happened. As soon as we saw this rejection right here, this is exactly where we wanted to get out. We didn't want to test it. And obviously I could have held for a little bit more and made a little bit more, right? Shoulda, coulda, woulda. But look how price came back up, would have stopped people that short sold where I did, right? If they put their stop losses right here, look how price wicked, came back up, grabbed liquidity to keep going back to the downside, right? Into more short sell profit. Then it rejected and started tracing up for the rest of the day with a lot more strength because the higher time frame is overall bullish to the upside. So that's why we took this setup. We made $234 on this trade, okay? Like I mentioned, on a Take Profit Trader challenge account, and slightly went just above a 1 to 1.5 risk reward. But that's it, guys. If you like the video, feel free to show some love down support, comment down below if you have any questions, like the channel, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.